Dog Works Radio is sponsored by Alaska Dog Works. Check out their website at alaskadogworks.com.
This episode of the podcast is brought to you by First Paw Coffee Company, specializing in private label premium blend coffee. If you're serious about coffee, you should check it out. First Paw Coffee's passion is high-quality, small-batch roasted coffee. They take the extra time to taste and get everything perfect before they release new blends. They aim to bring you a cup of happiness each time you pour yourself some coffee. Find out more at ak.dog/free and enter for a chance to win some First Paw Coffee prizes, a book from our collection, and tote bag. One winner will be selected at random each month. That's ak.dog/free.
The Dog Driver Show is brought to you by Dr. Tim's Pet Food, makers of such foods as Momentum, Fusion, Glacier, and Pursuit Athletic Dog Foods. Dr. Tim's has fed 5 of the last 8 Iditarod winners and some of the fastest sprint dogs on the planet. Dr. Tim's, a food for success. From First Paw Media, sponsored by First Paw Coffee Company, this is the Dog Driver Show. Visit our website at dogworksradio.com. Now here are your hosts, Robert Forto and Kurosh Parto.
Hello and welcome everybody. This is Robert and I'm here with my co-host KP and we are on the Dog Driver Show. KP, how's it going today?
Excellent. Another beautiful cloudy day actually in Alaska, and today we have someone very interesting with us. He is an equipment maker. He's calling in from Sweden. He is the owner operator of Vildemannen Drag, if I can pronounce it in Swedish. His name is Rickard Harrysson, and he's calling us from Sweden. Rickard, how are you doing?
My background as musher, we started back in 92 with sled dogs, and we started actually with 2 Alaskan Husky, and then it went on with an Alaskan Malamute and some Siberian Husky, and the last couple of years we have been concentrated on Siberian Husky actually, and a few years ago, we had the opportunity to take over this Vildemannens Drag. That was a company who makes gang lines. At that point, it was just only gang lines. And since we have taken over, we have started to do lots of other equipment like cookers and collars. We have made also some leashes, snow anchors, We try to find new solutions on a lot of things.
Rickard, I know that I've personally seen some of your products here in Alaska and also online. How does the development of a new product work? I mean, how do you test it? How do you come up with those ideas?
We have quite a lot good how should you say, workshops around me that can help me with develop things from my ideas, put them into a blueprint and actually do things with them. And then when we have started to make the first products, we try to send them out for testing with mushers around here. So we have lots of... we work together with lots of our ambassadors to just test our products before we can release them on the web shop.
So people, they tell you what they need and you come up with ideas. Is that how it works in your domain?
Yes, sometimes. And sometimes I have my own minds and my own ideas. And we're doing a lot of mushing with our own dogs. So I always looking for some things to make it easier or better or like that. So, but it's also other mushers that coming to us and have some wishes about to make changes. For example, I have been up to Petter Karlsson in Slussfors yesterday, Peter Carlson won the Finnmark race, Finnmark 1200 2 years ago. And he's a quite good long-distance musher in Sweden. So I was over to him yesterday and for the whole day and just try to find out good solution for his gang lines, because he wants them a little bit shorter to increase the length of the team. So that's one of the ways that we actually try to work together and develop new products and change the products to be better.
You talked about the gang lines and the length of the gang lines, for example. As a sprinter, I know that I have my specific length that I like for my lines. Do you see a lot of people with different distances that they have between necklines and tug lines, or they are usually all standard sizes?
They are quite much standard, but it starts to show up more different lengths. But you can't do them too short either. So I guess all the gang lines used to be, each section used to be between 2.5 meters down to 2 meters. And especially when you have big teams. So I have one guy up in Kangos that we're making lines for. He have quite a lot of dogs when he's training with the ATV in the autumn. So we made a special line for him that every section was 2 meters instead of 2.5. And that way we saved 5.5 meters on the whole team. So it's quite a lot. So it starts to show up. Even because we have using quite much of steel rope inside the center lines for the long distance measure here in Sweden, and the weight of that is also a problem sometimes, because all the dogs need to carry the center line for quite a long time in a long distance race. So that's also one thing that we try to work with, and that was the main thing we discussed with Peter Carlson yesterday also.
So the gang lines that you use, the center lines, is usually cable or is iron rope?
No, it's cable, wire, steel wire.
It's usually cable, steel wire. It is fascinating to listen to little details of not only sprint but also distance equipment, and I completely see the Rickard's idea of a 2 meter section compared to a 2.5 meter section on a windy trail with a bigger team. Rickard, I hear this question all the time, even from some experienced mushers. They always ask me the position of a neckline on a line. What angle do you like that neckline to sit on the main line?
With angle, you mean if it's going to, the angle should be against the dog or away from the dog?
Yes, that is correct.
Yeah. My idea is to adjust the harness and the tagline in that position, that the neckline went a little bit backwards to the dogs, because then I increase the not the chance, but I increase the possibility for the dog in the back line to bite off the taglines from the dogs in front of him. So I would like to have them adjusted a little bit backwards. So
here, folks, this is coming from a person who actually produces. So that's got to be the answer to all the questions about all the people asking the question. Usually on a bigger team, people that would like to have this angle to be backward, like Rickard said, and not only for biting the line, but also for having the risk of stepping over the neckline as you're going around the corners, and if the line slacks a little bit. Rickard, another product that you have, and I'm very, very interested in listening more about it, is your booties. Recently, I looked at some of them, and tell me the idea about those rubberized booties that you create.
The rubberized booties is actually a new thing it's built on actually on a new kind of booties. From the beginning, it was kind of a how should I say? It's not by Cordura. It's another kind. It's quite different material in the sock, but it makes them much more durable. And then we showed up that it's a possibility to put rubber on them, and in that way we have really good durability on this booty. I have some customers up here in northern Sweden who have taken out around 110 kilometer on each booty instead of taking an ordinary Cordura booty. Doesn't last quite long on gravel roads.
Yeah, I know that with the global warming and the weather conditions that we have, we face a lot of challenges during the fall training and gravel, ice, challenges. And for me, that was a very interesting concept. Basically, it's like a rubber shoes, I guess, for the dogs to be able to continue training with those conditions. The material that you use on that, is it, it looks like a kind of a stretchy material. It's like a t-shirt material, I guess, kind of stretches. Is this developed also by you?
No, it's actually not our booty. The booty comes from Norway from the beginning. The VIP Dogwear, who have designed them, but we are the biggest seller company of the booties in Sweden, actually, and it is Draggrottan who actually take them from Norway here to Sweden. But we have become kind of ambassador for Draggrottan somehow, and yeah, we end up to be really close to this company, and now people believe that it's actually our booties, but that's not the truth.
Okay. Do you use and do you test some of your equipment yourself also?
Always, yes. I always try to test it by myself at the first point. And when I have a product that I actually can believe on myself and that it works for myself, then I try to put it out to some ambassadors who can continue with the tests and see what they are capable to. And after that, we take a decision how we will start a production of them or not.
Rickard, tell me a little bit about your dogs. I believe that you have a kennel of Siberian Huskies, or registered Siberian Huskies. Tell me about the dogs that you have, how many dogs you have, the bloodlines, and what is going on in your yard.
At the moment, we only have 15 Siberian in the kennel. That's quite a lot less than we used to have a couple of years ago when we still had some tourist tours around here, and at that point we had around 35 adult dogs, and now we have finished with that events. I think it destroyed a little bit the fun, and it was not fun anymore to drive dogs, and that's the reason why we ended up driving tourists. So at the moment we just have 15, and that's the goal, I guess. We try to have 2 8-dog teams, one for Lena and one for me, so we can go out on our trips and do some hiking.
And what are the bloodlines behind your Siberian Huskies?
We have some Zero dogs from the beginning, and also some Seppala dogs in behind. So I'm not really in it exact what kind of bloodlines we have, but that's the background from far away. And the last couple of years we have used a lot of our own dogs just to breed on them, because I like the social behavior on the dogs that we have today. We tried 2 years ago and made a breed with another kind of dog, a little bit more like sprint dog, and it went to be a little bit more, how should you say, active dogs in the kennel. They scream a little bit more, and we didn't like that. So now we're trying to look forward and see what we can do and come back to this more calmer dog that we like, actually.
A lot of our listeners are not, I mention that all the time because we have listeners from all over the world, and some of them are not mushers and they are not familiar with the sled dog racing. Can you explain, in your opinion, with your experience, what is the difference between a show Siberian Husky and a working Siberian Husky?
Oh, it's quite big difference. The show huskies we actually have in Sweden is, you can see the size of the dog, all the angles on the legs, and the coat is quite much. A show dog is in Sweden, for example, is more like have quite short legs and very, how should I say, stubborn. He's very compact, and it looks like it's a little bit heavy. The racing dogs and racing types that the most of the people using in Sweden is more a little bit longer legs and better angles, and you can actually see that it's a better sled dog and it's a better working dog.
I thank you for being on the show today, and I'm really interested in your equipment knowledge as well as the knowledge with the Siberians. And I have a question for you based back on that equipment. For many years, people become accustomed to using things as they've used in the past. You know, they use the same cooker, the same gangline setup, the same harnesses. How difficult is it to move somebody over to something else? You know, people love what they know works. How do you get a new client, I guess, is the question.
I guess the only way to get new clients is actually to go on with the good products and safe products, and then have a good relation to our customer and make visits with them and just show them that I'm actually here and I'm willing to help them. And that way I can also win over some customers from other companies. Build trust, actually, I guess.
Yeah, that's an important part of it. One more question in regard to equipment. Is your equipment available in the U.S., in Canada, in other parts of the world other than Europe, or is it strictly a European clientele?
No, we're shipping worldwide. We have actually sent already equipment over to Alaska, Greenland, Svalbard, and the whole Europe is actually customers today.
All right, I have one final question for you, and then we'll turn it over to KP to close the show. It's the question I ask all of our guests, and that is, if a person is just getting involved with mushing, whether they have a question for you for equipment or for dogs, what would you give them if you gave them one piece of advice?
They should look a little bit on what other people are doing, how they do it, and listen, and then take in advices from a lot of other people and try to build their own idea about what they want to do. And the dog type doesn't matter so much, I think, because you should use the dog type that you like to have around you and that you are comfortable with. And yeah, it's actually make your own idea, build it on your own experience, and try to learn from other people. Be open, listen, and see what you can learn. You can always learn something from everybody, I guess.
That's great advice. KP, anything else in closing?
No, Rickard wanted to thank you for the time you spent with us. For our listeners, go check him out. Vildemannen Drag out of Sweden. This guy's a passionate guy about sled dogs, about our sport, and has some very cool, unique ideas who can help your dogs and your team. Rickard, if you have anyone to thank or any sponsors or anything that you want to say, it's time now.
Yeah, no, I don't have any sponsors, so I'm my own sponsor. Vildmannensdrag.com.
Very good, very good. Well, thank you so much, and enjoy the rest of the evening in Sweden, and we'll chat with you soon. Good luck to you.
Thank you very much.
On behalf of my co-host KP, this is Robert for the Dog Driver Show. Check us out next time. Goodbye.
This episode of the podcast is sponsored by First Paw Coffee Company. Learn more at firstpaw.coffee.
From First Paw Media, this is the Dog Driver Show. We hope you enjoyed this podcast, and we invite you to subscribe in Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or wherever you get your podcasts. You'll find a link on the episode notes. You can tap or swipe on the episode cover art, and you can see some offers from our sponsors. You can support our show by supporting them. If you like what you have heard, we would love it if you could give us a 5-star rating and tell your friends how to subscribe too. Your hosts are Robert Forto and Kurosh Parto. Our producer is Robert Forto and created for First Paw Media. Did you know that Alaska Dog Works trains service dogs for those in need throughout North America? Each and every service dog that is trained through the Lead Dog Service Dog Program and Michelle Forto and her team has an individual training plan. We train for autistic, mobility, psychiatric, and PTSD for our soldiers for service work. If you know of someone that may need a service dog, please take a moment and check out Alaska Dog Works on social media and at alaskadogworks.com.